Welcome, ladies and
5
gentlemen, to this
seconds remaining.
dotacommentaries.com presentation. I'm your host, LD. Today we have a very special match for you. This
Reserve
match is
time.
between AEON and Duskbin Gaming. The match is being played for the Prodota 2 Worldwide League for the Asia region. And this is a pretty exciting match for a couple of reasons. First of all, hey, it's Southeast Asian Dota. You know you're going to see some action. But more specifically, both of these teams have managed to
Dire
secure
team ban.
invites to the International 2 East qualifiers, which, if my information is correct, will be starting in about 48 hours. Something like that. So only 2 days to go until those qualifiers. This match has big implications for both teams. They have played once before. It was for the E-Club Evolution Challenge in Singapore. I have no
Radiant
information
team
about that
ban.
match, but apparently Dustbin won the game. So in the head-to-head matchup, at least for official matches, according to Ghost of Gamers, Dustbin is 1-0 up on AEON. They're good. We're going to see two best of ones in a row today. This is the first best of one coming out now. I want to talk a little bit about how both teams have been performing recently. If you're not familiar with AEON, they've actually been pretty impressive lately. They've 3-2 in the Gigabyte Dota Masters, and that was in a very stacked group.
10
They were in a
seconds
group with
remaining.
eHome, DK, Absolute Legends, and Myth Trust. I would say it's the group
5
of death
seconds
in that tournament.
remaining.
Certainly one of the top two groups. They did lose in the first round of the Joint Dota Master 7 versus
Reserve
DK.
time.
They're ranked 21 on Ghost of Gamers. Nobody would argue that AEON is
Dire
a top
team
team right
ban.
now. They're not a Navi. They don't have any results to really back that up. But they are certainly making waves in the scene and making sort of a room for themselves as a potential team to consider. They don't have too many achievements to their name. Their only first place in an event was was back in 2011. They've only played two events this year. As for Dustbin, they're 2-3 in the Gigabyte Dota Masters. They're in a their group not
Radiant
nearly as
team
strong.
ban.
Only Zenith and WE are the sort of more well-known teams there, and only Zenith has really performed particularly well recently. They did win the Joint Dota Southeast Asian Open too. So anyway, I guess my point coming to this match is neither of these teams has amazing results. If anything, I'd say AEON has the more impressive victories, while Dustbin has the much better overall record. They've really cleaned up a lot of smaller tournaments. They have a lot of first places in smaller events this year. Taking home 500 euros
10
in the Joint Dota
seconds
Open 2. That's
remaining.
probably their most remarkable victory. So we are set for best out of one, game
5
number one, and then
seconds
we'll have a
remaining.
second best out of one coming up momentarily. Let's take a look at the draft now. Chen, Invoker, Queen of Pain, all getting
Dire
banned out.
team
I love the
ban.
Queen of Pain ban. If you've ever watched Mineski, Duskbin, a lot of the other Pinoy teams play, they really love Queen of Pain. The hero is fantastic for a number of reasons. She's very strong 1v1 because of Shadow Strike. Ever since its recent buffs, and even before then, but especially since the recent buffs, it's just really, really good in that 1v1 situation for harassing your opponents down. Of course, Invoker, another very strong solo hero. Darkseer as well, and Prophet can be.
10
So I
seconds
like all of the
remaining.
bans so far, and they're really nothing surprising. But of course, a lot of these
5
bans are common
seconds
in general, but
remaining.
they all fit into sort of the aggressive play style that Dustbin favors, and really that
Radiant
all
team
Southeast Asian
pick.
teams tend to favor to some degree or another. The Shrek gets the final ban. And Queen of Pain is
Lycan.
really one of Dustbin's signature heroes, so again, I think that's a
Dire
very
team
smart ban.
pick.
Lycanthrope is the immediate first pick from AEON. From what I've seen of AEON, they tend to favor a little bit more of a pushing-oriented style. As far as Southeast Asian teams go, they're actually pretty deliberate. They'll often play more of a hard carry, they'll farm a little bit
Windrunner
more.
at your service.
Dustbin tends to go gank.
Dire
I
team
compare them
pick.
to Mineski because if you've ever watched Mineski, Mineski loves to gank, and
Earthshaker
that's exactly
here.
how Dustbin likes to play. As I
Radiant
say that, they
team
pick
pick.
two heroes that can be very defensive in Windrunner and Earthshaker. Of course, these are very versatile heroes. They are great at everything, offense and defense. But generally, when you pick up Windrunner, when you pick up Earthshaker, they're designed to be a little bit more defensive, allow you to turtle, allow you to hold on to your towers. The picks are smart because you're up against a Lycan, you know he's going to be pushing hard, and having a lot of anti-push is going to be important. Shackle Shot,
10
very good versus
seconds
Lycan.
remaining.
Windrunner, a great counter to Lycan in many ways because
Hit.
that Windrun
5
ability means that
seconds
if Lycan
remaining.
tries to focus her, she can just pop
Radiant
Windrun,
team pick.
take no damage during the
Vengeful
fight.
spirit.
Similarly,
Dire
she can also
team
use
pick.
Shackle Shot to disable him for a very long time. The only real counter to that is for Lycan to get an MKB, but that is a lot of farm because Lycan's got a lot of stuff he needs to get first. Normally it'll be a Vlad's, a Medallion, some power treads, and often a BKB before you can even think about a big damage item. That being said, AEON follows up the Lycan pick with an Enchantress and a Vengeful Spirit. Two things they have going for them right now, auras and pushing power. Enchantress
10
has the ability to
seconds
bring 2 or
remaining.
3 big creeps to the table very early on, even from level 1. So unlike a
5
Chen, the push
seconds
can get
remaining.
started extremely early. Lycan, of course, we all know about his pushing power. I won't bore you with those details, but keep in mind he also has his auras, which will be buff his creeps. You couple that with Vengeful Spirit and her passive, as well as the minus armor from Hal. Roshan's already going to die fast just to a Lycan. You throw in all these extra creeps, all these extra auras, and minus armor abilities. It's looking very potent for AEON. If they can get that good early start, they'll have a bunch of towers down in short order. And Duskbin, true to form, is going to respond to the push of AEON with some gank. So they pick up a nightstalker. They have now a nightstalker, a windrunner, and an earthshaker. I love the nightstalker pick. He's one of the few heroes that can really punish a lycan early on and set up some kills. Lycan is very scary and difficult to lock down when he's in ult form, but that's only if he can get into ult form. If Nightstalker gets a silence off on him, if you get a fissure or a shackle off on him and you can lock him down, Lycan's really not a big problem. And Nightstalker's ganking ability, one of the few heroes that can really get the jump on Lycan, initiate on him, and set up for the team. Whereas normally if you try to gank Lycan, he's just going to press R and walk away. Or whatever your shapeshift hotkey is, whether it's F or R or what have you. Shadow Shaming eats the ban here. I love this ban because it fits in so well with what AEON is clearly trying to do, which is push early on. And not only is Shadow Shaman a great pusher, of course, we all know he's also a fantastic ganker with those disables. And against the Nightstalker, you don't want to be hexed, you don't want to be netted, and you certainly don't want to be ward trapped. So I like the ban from Duskbin, a smart ban. If you look at AEON's lineup, they also desperately need some solo laners because they could throw a Lycan into the safe lane. In fact, I'm guessing that's what they're going to do and have Enchantress in the jungle. But if they do that, they still need a solo mid, they still need a solo suicide lane, because presumably the Vengeful Spirit will be supporting the Lycan. We'll have to see where Duskbin goes from here. They haven't really tipped their hands yet nearly as much in terms of AEON, in terms of what they want to lane, what they're looking to do. They could go for some more push, or excuse me, not more push. They could go for some push with a hero like a Death Prophet. I'm guessing we're going to see more gank, though. I would not be surprised at all
Reserve time
to see maybe a Sand King, more aggressive heroes that can really bring the pain early on. Ancient Apparition is available as well, and if you need a support, which Duskbin does, what better hero to combo that Earthshaker with than an Ancient Apparition? Cold Feet plus Fissure, guaranteed 3 to 4, I believe it's 4 seconds of disable, even at level 1, plus that Fissure if you get a good block, that will be early kills. We'll have to see where Duskbin goes. They're taking a lot of time with this last pick here. Meanwhile, AEON has banned out an Anti-Mage and a Morphling, showing some respect towards Duskbin's ability to carry. I have seen Duskbin run the Morphling, and he went for Lycan Sphere. It worked out very poorly because it was a game where he couldn't build Lycans. His towers were getting pushed down early, his team was behind. And that's a situation where Lycan Sphere is not going to do much for you. Just because once you get the Lycans, you still need one more item to contribute. Of course, Morphling's out of the pool, so no more worrying about that. Sand King is the pick. And going with not a very lot of... Their lanes are not very strong. If you look at it right now, Vengeful Spirit has very low range. She's not a strong support in the lane. Sand King, melee hero. He's okay 1v1 if he's up against another melee hero like Nightstalker with that Caustic Finale as well as the Sandstorm. He can certainly survive and do okay in that situation. He's not going to dominate a Windrunner. He's not going to dominate any sort of range support. Similarly, Lycan, very, very potent hero. Not great in the laning phase. The only hero that they have that's great in the laning phase is that Enchantress, and that's because of her ability to get creeps. Now, that being said, what AEON can do, and what we should expect to see them doing, is smoke ganking early on with the Enchantress, setting up some kills, whether it's with the Sand King Enchantress combo, whether it's with the Vengeful Spirit Enchantress combo. They have flexibility, but I expect if they're going to be successful in this laning stage, they will need to get some early kills. The other option is for them to try and push early on with the Enchantress and the Lycan, but you want to let Lycan get a couple of levels before you start that. Duskbin's response is going to be a Venomancer. I'm guessing this is primarily for the anti-push because if you look at AEON, we've talked about it a little bit already, they have a lot of pushing power. One thing that Venomancer doesn't do for you is offer much in terms of stopping the Lycan in a team fight. The slow is going to be irrelevant. Lycan normally rushes a BKB as his first core item. So once he gets that up, Poison Nova's not going to matter. Of course, like I said, Venomous Gale won't be affected. So you're pretty much getting this Venomancer for the wards and hopefully the early ganks. Now, he is very strong in that early ganking stage. Of course, you couple him with the Earthshaker, the Nightstalker, the Windrunner. A lot of heroes that can be aggressive early on. For Duskbin, the goal is going to be don't die early, don't lose any towers, and once the 6-7 minute mark hits, the first night hits, get some kills. Once you get kills, you can turn those into towers. For AEON, they really have to have a good start. They need to get some early farm on the Sand King. They need to get the Lycan some early farm. Ideally, they want to get a kill or two with this Enchantress. Of course, neither team has fully tipped their hands. If Duskbin wants to go late game, they have that option. They have not really picked a hard carry at this point. Although they have two decent semi-carries in the Nightstalker and the Windrunner. Heck, Venomancer can be played as one, but based on their lineup, I expect to see that be a full support Venomancer. It's going to be a Death Prophet for AEON, really going heavy on the team fight here towards the end of the draft, as well as that push power. This is their first pick that is a very strong hero in the laning phase, and I like the fact that they picked at least one hero who's strong in that regard, because if you look at Duskbin, they have a lot of heroes that can dominate that middle lane. Last pick here for Duskbin, I am very curious to see what direction they go. Will they go for some sort of semi-carry, maybe a Varana or a Weaver? Remaining. Will they go for maybe a little bit more gank? I mean, there's also tanky sort of carries in the pool, like Dragon Knight. And I'll just throw this out there, like Skeleton King. I wouldn't be too surprised to see them go in the more of a semi-carry, hard carry direction. But I'm guessing it will be someone who can contribute a little bit earlier and slow down the push. Because if you don't pick that up and you have a bad start, suddenly Lycan's got a quick Vlad's, Enchantress has maybe a quick Urn or a quick Drum of Endurance. Vengeful Spirit's got some items up. Sand King's got his Arcane boost. Death Prophet maybe as a Vitality booster. And even with those few small items, it's enough to just be unstoppable in the mid game. And they go for a Bat Rider, another strong ganker, another strong laning hero. I love the way Duskbin is playing right now. Man, oh man, if they get any sort of initiation here, they're going to be unstoppable. Couple of reasons why this Bat Rider is great. First of all, strong ganker, strong laning hero. AEON's going to have a tough time in the laning stage if they don't get off good ganks from the Enchantress. Left alone, left to their own devices of the lane, AEON's lanes will flat out lose, and lose badly to Duskbins. The Enchantress is the wild card. The roaming and the smoke ganking, the wards early on, is the way for AEON to get the advantage in the early game. The other reason I love this Bat Rider pick, great way to counter Lycanthrope. Before Lycan hits level 6, he is helpless to Bat Rider. His wolves are not that scary because they will die quickly. The Napalm makes it very difficult for Lycan to run away. If Bat Rider's on that bottom lane, it's gonna force Lycan to have some support. Windrunner will hold her own just fine. The other reason is that Bat Rider ult does go through BKB, so even if Death Prophet or the Lycan go for one, which they often do, it's not going to do too much against the Bat Rider. Now, Bat Rider's a very momentum-based hero. If he gets a bad start, it's not going to matter if he grabs you with his ult because you'll just kill him. But if he has a good start, it will make all the difference in the world. With that being said, let's go ahead and introduce our competitors for this game. This is Duskbin I'm introducing now, so we have Arjun playing that Nightstalker. Cast on the Venomancer. Shab's going to be handling that Bat Rider. Ninja Boogie on the Windrunner, and Lay playing that Earthshaker. Looks like Mr. Swish is no longer playing for Duskbin. I'm not sure if they're just using a stand-in or if he's been replaced, but I know he's in the last match I cast him a week ago or so. For AEON, we see Nuts playing that Vengeful Spirit. It will be a support Vengeful Spirit with Smoke picked up already. Ken heading out. Looks like he will be going mid, actually, doing a bit of a bottle rush here. Mr. Kyo on that Enchantress. Not sure if it will be an offensive jungle or not, but it looks like it might be. And Suwaman playing that Death Prophet, maybe a support Death Prophet. King as the Lycan, staying at base. He'll be summoning another pair of wolves before heading out to the jungle to make sure he's at full mana. Both teams very intent on being, sort of shutting down their opponents shutting down the opposing jungle early on. We can see AEON has already set up an aggressive lane ward here. This suggests that they want to run that Enchantress offensively in the top lane, because when you have this ward up, it allows you to see when there's a hero near the tower or if someone TP's in, and then use that to set up some ganks. The other option is they're just using it to keep everyone safe. I think you can actually earn battle points from non-matchmaking. Regen Rune is picked up by Lay. I also want to mention there's a Magic Bush ward placed here. A smart choice when you're up against a Lycan and an Enchantress. And the question is, do we have Sentry wards early on? It's not going to affect the Lycan too much. An Enchantress does not have Sentry, so it's not going to be able to deward that, at least for the next minute or two. In the middle lane, it will be Ken up against Arjun. I expect to see Caustic Finale leveled up early, at least 1 point for harassment purposes. It is actually a defensive jungle Enchantress. A little bit surprising. That's going to leave the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Death Prophet up top against the Bat Rider. Bat Rider should do pretty well in this lane, and the Venomancer sets up a good Gale. I definitely give the edge here to Duskbin. They have more kill potential than AEON. At the same time, AEON's lane is not bad by any means. They could certainly hold their own, but keep your eyes on Duskbin up here, because if anyone's going to get a kill, it'll probably be that Bat Rider Venomancer. Ken has opted for Caustic Finale. Just wanted to make sure nobody had showed up in lane. Did not want to get ganked at level 1. Tornado already being summoned to do a little bit of harassment. And Ken doing a nice job here, blast hitting. You can see the power of Caustic Finale for helping you get those last hits as well as keep the Nightstalker back. In the bottom lane, this is a very tough lane for Lycan. He's going to need help. I'm a little surprised to leave him alone. For now, he's okay. I mean, you can see he's using the wolves to last hit. This is one of the reasons why Lycan can be alright in this situation. He's got the wolves, so he doesn't have to walk up to the creeps. But with that being said, Ninja Boogie doing a nice job of zoning him out. If Lycan is ever out of position and Lei hits a good fissure, that will be the death of Ninja, or of the King. So he's got to position himself carefully. Looks like the Rena Basilius is off, so he's not trying to push the lane, but hey, with the two wolves in the thrown into the equation, the lane will be pushing here and there. Mr. Keo, looks like the Magic Bush Horde was not properly placed or was placed late, because he is able to get this camp, so he takes an Ursa, going to be cleaning that up. I'm curious to see when will he use the smoke and where will he go. I think he's got to provide some help to the bottom lane. If it's not him, who will it be? Enchantress denying the DD rune. Nice micro there. It's a very passive start to this game. Expect to see the action really heat up around the 6-minute mark or so. That's when Duskbin is going to have the opportunity to go on the offensive. Nightstalker in the middle lane. Once he hits level 6, we'll be getting, hopefully the quick boots as well as the earn up and then going on the offensive. I'm taking a look here at the farm. Ninja Boogie already 13-2. Great start to him for the farm in the middle lane. Ked getting the better of the Nightstalker. He's 13-2 versus a 9-2 Nightstalker. But still, considering the matchup, not a bad creep score for the Nightstalker at all. Up top, Death Prophet 7-2. And the Bat Rider 5-2. So pretty even farm all around. You got to keep in mind this top lane is getting pulled, which is giving Duskbin a little bit of an edge and experience to counteract that Enchantress in the jungle. Courier sending out what looks to be their boots. So boots and bottle already up in Ken. This is a big way to start your middle lane. If you can get boots and bottle this quickly, you're gonna have a much easier time controlling the runes. It also makes it easier for Enchantress to gank. Aggressive burrow strike in. Nice harassment here from Ken. Actually, he doesn't have a single point in Sandstorm. He's got to be very careful. Looks like Arjun will be bottling up along with Ken. Very aggressive play by Ken. The second I turn away, immediately burrow strikes in. And this is no surprise. Sand King should win this matchup, especially early on. I'm a little surprised that they haven't sent anyone down his way to help, as I think Bat Rider would be just fine up top by himself, but they want Venomancer to get the levels and the farm. That is clear. That's why they're leaving him up top for now. Indeed, Lei is going to be rotating around towards the middle lane. Maybe he'll go for a gank. Maybe he's just here to sort of ward back Ken, slow down his farm a little bit. Lycan has abandoned that bottom lane. He's headed into the jungle. He's only got the Ring of Regen, as well as 500 gold, so he's actually farming pretty well. Cast is a little bit of trouble, doing a good job of scouting out the impending gank with these wards here. Mr. Keo does find Cast. Surprised he went in with the wards there. He gets slowed. Magic Missile to follow. Will it be enough damage? A nice Centaur stop. Good chain stun, and I believe this will be the death of Cast. Indeed it is. Great rotation in from Ken. Really well played. And AEON getting that early gank. This is the power of the Enchantress. Meanwhile, Shabs is diving top. A costly dive. He gets the kill, but not before dying first. 2 kills going the way of AEON. Yes, the Bat Rider got the kill, but he did not get the experience because he died first. A big loss for him. Ken already sitting on 1,000 gold. Will he rush Arcane Boots? Oh, Arjun in a little bit of trouble here. He's got to be careful. A Burrow Strike might be all it takes. No, defensive fissure is available if necessary. Ken eats the void. He backs up for the moment. He still does not have a point in Sandstorm. I've definitely run this build myself before, and it's great when you're 1v1, but if you don't have that Sandstorm and someone shows up, you can really be punished for it. So he's going to have to be careful. He heads back to base. I am curious, will he go for the Blink Dagger? Will he rush Arcane Boots? Or I should say it the other way around. Will he go for Arcane Boots or will he rush the Blink Dagger? It remains to be seen. I think either could work, but an early Blink would be pretty strong against Duskbin. It really punishes over-aggression from the Nightstalker. Sets up those epicenters if Duskbin is tower diving quite nicely. In terms of the warding situation here, a pretty defensive ward being placed just to spot any approaching ganks from the Earthshaker. Of course, he's not going to be ganky. Venomancer sequester top. If you're Duskbin, you got to feel okay about how the game is going. You're only down 1,000 gold. Sure, you know, AEON has a lineup that can snowball, as actually Windrunner dies solo to the Lycan on the bottom lane. Frankly, that shouldn't happen. Sorry I missed that one, but I have no idea what happened. Windrunner should not be dying. That's the trade. Initiation on the middle lane. Ken eats the silence. The fissure will be coming soon. Fissure to follow. One more Void might do it. Meanwhile, Bat Rider goes down on the top lane. Void not going to be enough, actually. Duskbin not having a good start at all. AEON looking very strong. And to anyone who's been following the Gigabyte Dota Masters, it should not come as a surprise that they're having a good start. They've beaten some very impressive teams there, as mentioned in the pregame, DK, AL, as well as Myth Trust. Duskbin, the only really sort of top Southeast Asian team they've beaten, or Asian team they've beaten, is in fact AEON. We'll have to see how the game progresses, but right now, if you're AEON, you got to be feeling happy. The next objective for them is going to be to get down some early towers. Top tower is taking a little bit of damage. Expect to see once the lycan hits level 7 or 8, he has the opportunity to go for Roshan, but the best way to get Roshan, especially in the Radiant side, is to get those early towers. Once these towers get knocked down, the tier 1, bottom and middle, as well as ideally the tier 2s, it makes it a lot easier for you to get that Roshan because the Dire have to travel much farther to get into the pit. Nut set up here on the top lane. He is level 5 actually, very highly leveled. Just some harassment on the middle lane. Shabs eats a magic missile. That's almost half of his health instantly. And this is what I was discussing earlier. An underleveled Batrider is no good. An under-farm Batrider is no good, especially against this AEON lineup. They have a lot of damage. Swabot in a little bit of trouble, eats a void. Venomous Gale actually only hitting one hero. A little bit unfortunate there. Looks like he could have hit more. Mr. Keo with the Ken with the counter initiation, rather. Epicenter gonna be hitting too. Nightstalker able to run away. Still a nice job of punishing that aggression. Nightstalker is not getting it done now. Great shackle shot, tower shot fell. Mr. Keo goes down. I believe Batrider ult was even used there. That's a little bit of a waste. And in comes the nuke from the Death Prophet. Not going to be enough to kill anyone. Power shot will actually clean up Nuts. Great play on both sides, really. A lot of aggression. It's looking a little bit better for Duskbin. Ninja Boogie is going to go down here, or will he? No, actually, he is able to get away. The turnaround is forthcoming. Swalmon is almost Fissure Block. Not entirely. One more Void will do it. The Void does get the kill there. Huge back and forth in the end. Definitely going to say that one came out ahead for Duskbin. It looked bad at first. They dropped the kill to begin with. But we went from a score, I believe it was 4-1, all the way back to 5-4. Actually, the action was not completely finished. Batrider dies again, so AEON getting a little bit more going their way. Crucially, Ken did not die. He's up to level 7 already. Max Burrow Strike, 2 points in Caustic. Should probably look towards the point Sandstorm soon, if for no other reason than to force the purchase of wards. He's got a ward up here. And you got to keep in mind their objective right now for AEON is still to knock down towers and get Roshan. While all that action was happening top, Lycan did knock down the bottom tower. That's step number 1. There are 3 towers to go to have true control over Roshan. But even just getting down the first tier 1s will be enough. If you win a fight, get the lanes pushed, instantly they can transition into the Roshan pit. Nice sentry ward being placed here by Duskbin. Sensing that AEON had some aggressive wards. When you're up against the lineup with a jungling enchantress, it's a smart decision to deward this area. And they obviously knew their movements were being spotted, so great job by them. I think that was actually placed after the ward died, but still, the thought is what I'm talking about. The thought is what's important. Looks like AEON trying to set up a bit of a push on the top lane. Burrow strike in from Ken. Clean up some more creeps. He's got a haster, and oh, this is a dangerous situation if you're Duskbin right now. And while we have a moment here, let's take a quick look at item progression. Any key pickups? Lycan, I already mentioned the Vlads. He's got the medallion to go with it as well. This is time. Key for him to Roshan. There's a smoke on Enchantress. Not sure if they're going to give that to the Lycan or just buy another. But anytime they win a fight or get a tower, they can easily transition to Roshan. One of the best ways to set up that Roshan is for 3 or 4 heroes to push top, force some TPs in, maybe even go for a team fight. If you lose a few heroes, maybe, let's say they lose 2 and get 1, Lycan can immediately go into Roshan, and suddenly that's a great trade. Swap initiation on Mr. Shab. He is just too squishy right now. Just a couple auto attacks, and down he goes. At this stage of the game, you would expect to see a Batrider with a Blink Dagger or a Vitality Booster at the very least, working towards a Vanguard if he's having a decent start. Heck, even an Urn of Shadows would be nice. He's got nothing right now, just a Magic Wand. Burrow Strike in on Urgent. He's dead as well from the looks of it. Epicenter being used. Certainly a worthwhile decision. Shutting down the Nightstalker, nice great. And in goes Lycan to the pit. Immediately they get the kills, and the Roshan is theirs for the taking. Duskbin, actually, I believe this was spotted, or did Lycan use a smoke? I did not catch if he used the smoke. Either way, it looks like there's no reaction, so I'm guessing he did, and it was just a smoke bug kicking in, as he did not have the smoke animation up. Swamon popping the ult, looking to go for the tower. Shabs eats a Burrow Strike, and a little bit of trouble here. TP in from the Windrunner, so Roshan is definitely going for free. Shab's still alive. Shackle shot on Mr. Keo doing a bit of damage here. Arjun in the front lines doing what he can, but that ult from Death Prophet is ticking away. Nice defensive swap, and back comes Death Prophet again into the fight, and doing a great job of fighting. Cannot believe nobody's died. One hero drops for Duskbin. Will we see any more? Roshan dies in the middle of all this. Will lycan TP in is the question. Arjun continuing the chase. Death Prophet heals up at the perfect time there. Great fight overall for AEON. 3 for 1 is the trade. Mr. Lay in a lot of trouble here. Looks like he will be going down. 2-hero burrow strike could be the death of both. Ken's got the burrow strike. He's went for 2. He's not able to get it. No mana for Venomous Scale. Magic Missile will be the death of this. Of cast, and a team wipe. A team wipe going the way of AEON. Well, I said they needed to have a good start, and man, have they delivered. Roshan, team wipe up top. Tier 1 tower mid about to go down. Tier 1 tower bottom already down. Let's take a look at the gold graph. Oh boy. 7,500 gold. Already going their way. Great start for AEON. Great play for them. It all goes back to those first early ganks by the Enchantress. Just the 1 kill mid. The Sand King having a good start. The rune denials by the Enchantress on the bottom rune. All these little things add up very quickly. Just a few simple kills top. It frees up Lycan on the bottom lane. It forces the Earthshaker to rotate away from bottom, which gives Lycan more space and room to farm. The Windrunner has to TP top. Lycan gets Roshan. This is where AEON's lineup excels. They are very happy at this stage of the game to be 4+1. Let Lycan be on one side of the map and the other 4 be on the other side. If they can continue this approach, Duskbin is going to have a very hard time shutting them down. And then once Lycan has his core items up, they can absolutely teamfight. They've got Sand King. They've got a Vengeful Spirit. Pretty decent teamfight initiation right there. Some stuns to go with it as well. And of course, Death Prophet. Great AoE damage. A nice AoE silence as well. Ken eats the silence here. DD Rune gets popped. And the Fissure. Ken is going to die. 200 gold. Actually, no, he's not. Great Sandstorm. The Chant Totem is available. Burrow Strike into the trees. Will he TP out? Ken looking for the TP. And he's going to get away. Great play by Ken. Oh, man. That's got to be frustrating. If you are Duskbin, they had so many chances to kill the Sand King earlier on. Unfortunately, the time when they finally get to go on him and they're going to have a kill, he's got that point in Sandstorm. He didn't have it for most of the early game, but he picks up the point just in time. Top tower going down. Mid tower actually didn't drop, but it took a bunch of damage from the Lycan. Speaking of that Lycan, 1,750 gold in the bag. Will he go for BKB? Will he go for Necronomicon 3? The question is, the main reason I ask this is because if he goes for the former, it suggests they just want to push. If he goes for the latter, it suggests they want to team fight and gank a little bit more. They could win either way. They certainly have the horses to go in either direction. They're not all in on push. They're not all in on gank. They have flexibility. I think push is probably the safer way to go, but we'll have to see how Duskbin progresses here. They are very far ahead at the moment. I showed you the gold graph earlier. We'll look at it again. Already over 9,000, and of course the XP graph heavily in favor of AEON. Let's take another look at item progression here. As the Shackle Shot actually latches on Swapmon, but he's going to be okay. Come on, guys. Let me take a look at the items here and stop fighting for just 1 second. Looks like they're not going to let me. Lay wants to go in. I believe he's going for Power Treads, or maybe a set of drum. Shackle and Swamon not going to latch. Batrider in the middle of everything. Burrow Strike onto Ninja Boogie. The epicenter is canceled. Great Fissure by Lay. Batrider all dragging Nuts back, but he's taking too much damage from the impetus. Big Echo Slam by Lay. Decent amount of damage done. Nuts in some trouble here. Not before getting another kill. That Poison Nova from Venomancer doing all sorts of damage. Looks like it will be a 3 for 1. Will Ninja Boogie be able to pick up a kill here? He's looking for the Shackle Shot. Ken, aware of that, is not going to let him have it. You got to keep in mind, they're fighting 4v1 right now. The Kane is not in this fight. The Kane is not in this fight. Sand King goes back in. He did have the Blink Dagger during that fight. Another single hero epicenter, and this time it got cancelled. Hey, they still came out ahead. But if they're coming out ahead without Lycan and without epicenter hitting, you got to be pretty worried if you're Duskbin. So I wanted to take a look at item progression. Lycan, I mentioned him earlier. He's got a lot of money. He's already got the medallion and the Vlads. And the Aegis up. Nuts, how much does he have? Just an urn. Pretty good farm actually for a support bench. He's been buying all the wards. Ogre X, looks like a BKB will be up soon. Initiation on Ninja Boogie. He eats a swap, as well as a Burrow Strike, as well as a Magic Missile. Ninja Boogie might get away from this actually. In fact, it looks like a huge overextension by AEON, but the Nuts, or Kane in the thick of things, doing a lot of damage. Cast is the next target, and he can't do anything to slow this down. It's all up to Lay. Will he have to Fissure up in time? He's looking for a nice Fissure block here. Not going to get it. The King gets a single taste, eats a void. Impetus doing a lot of damage. That early Impetus is so powerful in these early game engagements. The King is going to go down, and it looks like we're going to see Enchantress die as well. Shab's going to go down again, not before dropping his ult, but Death Prophet ult might be enough to kill him. He will be able to get away. He will not. The Aegis was popped during that fight. 3 for 3, a better trade for Duskbin, but still not the best trade. The tower was killed by Lycan. They were not able to deny it. And Death Prophet very close to the BKB. Now, I mentioned I like Batrider as a way to counter the BKB pickups on the Lycan, on the Death Prophet, but that only works if they're ahead. If you're this far behind on Batrider, I mean, look at him. He still doesn't have anything. At this point, I would honestly just start buying bracers, because there's just no way that you're going to farm up anything beyond maybe a Vitality Booster, which I'm guessing is what he's saving for it. Even if he jumps in and grabs the Death Prophet, he's just going to die. I mean, we saw a single Vengeful Spirit stun is enough to bring him down to half health, pretty much. Along with that Terror and just a couple of auto attacks. 2 or 3 nukes and he's just dead. And Batrider, as an initiator, needs to tank up a lot more than most, because he has to walk up to his opponents and pretty much be in the middle of the fight to do anything. Play up top going to be baiting the King a little bit, but it's not baiting if you die, and right now he might be set to die. Batrider out on cooldown, Echo Slam is blown. Actually, a great job by Shabs pushing him away with that Flame Break, and it's going to force the Lycan back, who has gone for the Necronomicon 3. I like the choice. I think AEON's best bet to win this game and sort of turn their lead into a victory is to go for those early game pushing items. I'd like to see a Drums picked up as well, maybe an Assault Cuirass eventually. For now, it looks like Enchantress might be going for Drums, or maybe it'll be an Aghanim's Rush. Enchantress may be their secret weapon here, and she has turned out to be the secret weapon in a lot of games I've cast recently. Magic Missile initiation. Looks like Nuts will be okay for the moment. Eats a Silence and a Void, but he'll be fine. And of course the King, pressuring bottom, very similar to a Battle Fury Anti-Mage, to a Morphling with Lycans. Constantly pressuring one side of the map, but always able to join the fight because of his sheer mobility. Like a Spectre, like a Battle Fury Anti-Mage. Shackle Shot is going to latch on Nuts. He eats the Venomous Gale. It's actually a 2-hero Venomous Gale. Power Shot as well, but they just don't have the damage. Burrow Strike Epicenter, Ken destroying Ninja Boogie as well as the Venomancer. They both go down. Batrider ult is dropped, but again, he just can't tank. Power Shot comes in. Too much damage. Swamon absolutely murdering everyone. Lycan ignoring the fight entirely, going for that bottom tower. Burrow Strike it again on Arsenal. Did he buy back? No, he actually just ran away, came back into the fight from the looks of it. Nobody dying on AEON there, aside from the Enchantress. A great engagement for them. The King actually popped his ult just to push a little bit faster.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Lycan does get some extra armor, and more importantly, his base attack time goes down, so he will attack significantly faster in that ult form. It is a little known but important fact that helps you push better. Ken is just killing it this game, man. 5-1-4, but I feel like his presence has been a lot more felt than that. He set up a lot of kills for the Death Prophet, got her off to a great start. He dominated the middle lane, crucially held down the Nightstalker. He's controlled the runes nicely all game. He's helped them push down towers. His team fight presence has been fantastic. Ken is playing exceptionally well. And this is the power of a Sand King with a quick Blink Dagger. So difficult to shut down. If you look at the Dire lineup, their initiation is not great if they don't have items. Batrider really wants a Blink and some tank items. Windrunner ideally wants a Force Staff, and it looks like we might see a go here on the middle lane. Shackle Shot is going to latch on Nuts. No, actually it's not, because all the trees have already been knocked out. Flame Break actually kind of helping AEON there, pushing them back. They want to go for this Vengeful Spirit. I don't think it's the correct target, but they can't ignore her either because she does a lot of damage. Arjun in a decent amount of trouble here. Shavel's in the middle of things, doing what he can to bring down the hero. Nice defensive swap. Ninja Boogie gonna drop. Big Echo Slam, but it's only a level 1 Echo Slam, and everyone on AEON is simply too tanky at the moment. Death Prophet ult was popped, and it looks like we're gonna see one more hero go down. Triple kill coming out for the Enchantress. Mr. Keo definitely on top of his game right now, playing like an absolute boss. The King getting the top tower, just ignoring the fight, and as soon as I look away, it's an ultra kill for Enchantress. Ken even going for the Earthshaker. They wanted to make it a clean team wipe, but they're not able to. Oh boy, I did not want to take a look at the gold graph, but this is what you see, guys. 20 minutes into the game, it is a 15,000 gold lead. Nearly having 1,000 extra gold for every minute the game has been played. That is a serious advantage for AEON. The XP graph, similarly, huge lead, and if we take a look at the item progression, Ken almost having a BKB to go with that Blink Dagger, as well as the Arcane Boots, extremely farmed on him. Lycan with the Necronomicon 3 picked up. Duskbin, really nothing. Still working on a mechanism for Ninja Boogie. It is not a good time to be a Duskbin player. Now, for anyone who's a little bit disheartened, any of the Pinoy fans out there, don't you guys worry. This is only the first best out of 1 for today. These two teams will be matching up again, so even if the unthinkable happens and Duskbin does drop this match, they will have a chance to redeem themselves, and AEON will have an opportunity to go for a clean 2-0 sweep. So don't go anywhere, even if this game looks out of reach. It is only the first game of 2. With that being said, we're seeing a little bit of a group up here at the Roshan pit. Cast in some trouble, and it looks like Ken wants to go for the solo kill. Actually, Enchantress gets another kill in the middle of this. Ken pops the one. Man, he is just so hard to bring down at this point. Pops the BKB as well. First strike, a 1 epicenter will be going on to Arshin, but actually not able to get in range. Not the best epicenter. Poison Nova as well. It just doesn't matter. The King is too tanky on him. Everyone on AEON does way too much damage. Ninja Boogie drops as well. Arshin in some trouble. Down he goes. The GG comes out from Ninja Boogie, and I cannot blame him. This game is definitely out of reach. It would take some serious throwing to bring them back into it. It's not a best out of 3. There are 2 separate best out of 1 matches. The reason for that is the Prodota 2 format is you play a round robin. So you play every team in the league once, and then you play them all once a second time. So there's two rounds of the round robin. A double round robin, if you will.
Roshan has
Roshan drops, and I believe everyone has disconnected for Duskbin, so we're just waiting here for the final scoreboard to pop up. I gotta tell you guys, AEON looks strong. If you look back on Duskbin's lineup, I see some people in the chat questioning their draft. I can see what you're saying. They're not very strong early game, but they don't have a carry, and I don't think they needed a carry either. If you look at their lineup, they have the ability to win the early game. They have the ability to do well in their lanes. The laning decisions were a little bit questionable. Leaving a Nightstalker 1-on-1 against Lycan, that is just a very difficult lane for any melee hero to win, outside of perhaps an anti-mage, or someone who really dominates in the 1v1 like an Axe. Anyway, with that being said, this will be our final scoreboard for today. We'll be coming back with the second best out of 1 very soon for the Prodota 2 World League Asian region. This was AEON vs Duskbin. Game 1 goes the way of AEON. Very convincing performance. I am LD. Thank you guys all for joining me. We'll be right back with the second best out of 1.